Very few players entertained, amused and angered in equal capacity as Mario Balotelli. We take a look back at his wildest moments over the years in a career that has seen him enjoy spells at both AC Milan and Inter Milan, as well as Premier League rivals Liverpool and Manchester City. Going against José's wishes, one of the more hilarious stories was revealed by José Mourinho from their time together at Inter Milan, with the Portuguese manager branding the striker unmanageable following the said incident. For a crunch European tie, Balotelli was Inter's only fit striker and had picked up a first-half booking. Mourinho apparently spent 14 minutes of the 15 speaking only to Mario, begging him to avoid a red, before he went out and got sent off within a minute of the second half beginning. Why always me? Balotelli's iconic celebration is probably the first image that comes to mind when his name is mentioned. The Italian netted a brace as City pumped their bitter rivals in a humbling defeat for Sir Alex Ferguson. Edin Dzeko also grabbed 2 goals, with David Silva and Sergio Aguero also notching one apiece, as United's noisy neighbours took over Old Trafford. But Balotelli stole the show with his superb celebration, which was planned with kit man Les Chapman before the game. Mario pulled me to one side and said he wanted me to print something on his compression shirt for the game. I said, well, we can't print anything controversial and we can't print anything that's going to be offensive to the United fans or anybody. He thought for a minute or two. Then he came out with 1 or 2 things. I said, no, Mario, no, I don't think that's appropriate. And then he came out with it, why always me? As soon as he said it, I knew that was the one. Fireworks inside the house. Having arrived in England, he quickly made his mark on and off the pitch, but the sequence of events surrounding his altercation with fireworks was one of the more hilarious stories we've ever heard. Balotelli caused some serious damage to his mansion by setting off fireworks within the house, causing it to set on fire in some parts. All of this was hours before City's iconic 6-1 win over United. He then scored 2 goals, including the opener, and then proceeded to lift up his shirt to reveal the iconic message, "Why always me," stitched across his thermal top. All of us culminated in the forward being made the face of a fire safety campaign, in a brilliantly ironic moment. Remarkably, just days after the incident, the Italian was appointed as Greater Manchester's fire safety ambassador. They can be very dangerous if they are not used in the right way, said the striker after insisting that it was a friend rather than him who set off the fireworks in his house. People should follow the firework code. Preseason antics. Another example of vintage Balotelli came in a preseason game against Los Angeles Galaxy, when he played under Roberto Mancini when he decided, whilst being one-on-one with the goalkeeper, that instead of finishing it he would go for a backheel finish that dribbled embarrassingly wide. Mancini screamed from the bench and immediately dragged him off, and the pair traded words as Balotelli stormed off. Balotelli almost fought with Mancini in another incident. Balotelli and Roberto Mancini, the manager who brought him to City, was the ultimate love-hate relationship. Mancini spoke about Balotelli on numerous occasions, with the popular boss eager to get the striker to buckle down in his youth. He once said back in 2012 that he would need a psychologist if he spoke to Balotelli every day, and famously offered for the striker to come and stay with his own family to keep Balotelli out of trouble. After a bust-up, the pair famously almost came to blows during a City training session in the past, a story confirmed by former City player Gareth Barry. He was good fun. Mario was harmless, Barry said, regarding the images that made headlines around the world. He was an immature little rogue who liked messing around in training, getting in trouble, winding the manager up. You've seen the images of Mancini having him round the neck in training because he's not listening. Punching a teammate. Now playing in Turkey for Adana Demirspor, Balotelli was substituted on the hour mark and reacted angrily to being taken off. He launched his shin pads on the ground before exploding in an angry tirade to a teammate before throwing a punch at his pal on the bench. Luckily, the substitute seemed to take it in his stride, but it was another remarkable meltdown from the king of controversy. Upsetting the Inter fans. Very few players cross the Milan divide, but Balotelli is one of the few stars to have played for both AC Milan and Inter Milan. Balotelli has made no secret of the fact that he grew up an AC Milan fan, and his career at Inter was ended after he was caught on television happily donning a Milan shirt. The women's prison. Balotelli and his brother Enoch tried to enter a women's prison in Brescia to have a look around the premises. It was 1,600 hours when we saw a high-powered Mercedes come through the gate. Inside were two boys. After a few minutes we realized one of them was Balotelli, a prison officer explained. They said they saw the gate opened and never imagined they would need a special permit to visit the prison. The two were particularly intrigued by the fact it was a women's prison. The fireworks incident inside Micah Richards' house. Mario Balotelli once chased Micah Richards round his kitchen with fireworks. The former Manchester City defender revealed the incident occurred just weeks after Balotelli almost burnt his own house down. Because the story that you guys all know is the story at his own house where basically he's setting off fireworks in his home and, I'm not exaggerating, there must have been 20 to 30,000 pounds worth of damage on the house. If you Google that now you probably could see the damage. But what people don't know. He came to my house a couple of weeks later and tried to set off fireworks in my house. He's chasing me round my kitchen with fire. I'm like, are you okay in the head, man? You've just set off fireworks in your own house and nearly burnt it down. Now you're coming around. And he's just there looking at me, laughing like it's normal. I'm just like, this guy is mad. Ultimately, the star will be lauded for his controversial moments, but some will be disappointed that the Italian didn't fulfill his vast potential. Alongside the off-pitch antics, he could have been a real top player, and it's sad we never saw him have the career that he threatened to have.